Hi, my name's Dafydd. I'm one of the volunteers here at the Brockwell Park greenhouses, and it's been pretty hot weather recently, so that means watering, and some of us thought it'd be a good idea for me to give a little chat about hoses and connections for hoses. So that's the purpose of this next few minutes. The attachments to hoses are usually this sort of form. It's important, I think, for you to understand how these are made. They're tricky little things, beautifully designed. They have a screw at the bottom where the hose goes in, and they have this thing here, and that's a collar, and that's a very important part of what happens, because this collar moves back and forwards. And these connectors come in all sorts of colors, all sorts of sizes. For example, that one, all different makes. Another one which is green. And the purpose of these connectors is that you put a hose in one end. We'll go into that in more detail in a moment. And you put this onto a male projection like this. This is an old-fashioned metal one, and most of the standpipes here in the garden have one of these attached to them. The idea is that that's coming down from the pipe, and you can just push this on and click it like that. And that gives a very good seal. To undo, it's very important that you pull the collar back before you pull it off. And I'll show you the reasons for that in a minute. This is an old-fashioned one from a standpipe, and this is a male-male adapter, which is a very similar shape, a groove, and this black circle around it, which is made of rubber, and that's a little washer which actually seals this projection inside the connector, ready for the hose. Sometimes that ring is missing, in which case the system is going to leak. So you can always check, if you have a leak, if that's there or not. I just want to show you now one of these connectors. Well, let's take this one. You can see straight through it. And the collar there comes back. The reason that collar comes back is because when you press it down, it releases or pulls back some little grippers inside the connector. It's those little grippers, if you like, plastic grippers, that actually, when you put it onto a male connector, make that click and hold it in that groove. So, when you are pulling these off, always pull the collar back and then pull it out. Don't pull the whole thing off, because it won't come, and if you do manage to pull it off, it'll break the little plastic grippers inside. These connectors come in two forms. There's one of these, which is straight through. You can see straight through it if you look. The second ones, whatever make they are, have a red section in them. And they're rather special connectors, because when you disconnect them from anything, and you have a hose on here, it stops the flow. And the reason it stops the flow is you have this little gizmo inside, which comes in and out. So when the pressure of the water from the hose comes along there, it actually seals this so that you can disconnect it without water going everywhere. So that's the red one, and usually in all the makes they are signaled with a red section like that. Sometimes they just have stop written on the outside, and that's a nuisance, because you can't easily tell the difference between them and the ordinary ones. The next issue is, how do you connect the hose to one of these connectors? There you go, there's another make here. This is also a stop connector of a different make. So to connect the hose, you unscrew this bit. The important thing is, before you connect the hose, have a look at the end of the hose. For demonstration purposes, we've got two ends here. There's one which is pretty straight, but it's still not perfect. And you have this hose here, which has been cut at a slant. It's rough, very rough. that's useless. That's going to leak as soon as you join it to a connector. Even this one, which is reasonably straight, is not the greatest. The best ones are cut very, very cleanly straight across. That's difficult with a penknife, but we do in fact have a pipe cutter here which will do this perfectly. So, if I want to connect this bit of hose to this connector, the thing to do is always put the collar onto the hose first, because if you do everything else, you suddenly find that the collar is sitting by you somewhere and you've missed it. You'll notice that all these connectors have a row of plastic grippers going around here. They are very important because they are the thing that grip around the hose and hold it to the connector. It's quite tricky putting the hose on them, because if you just get this and just push it on like this, you're in danger of bending and breaking these little plastic grippers. So the secret really is to do this quite gently. You put it on at an angle and you slowly twist it around like this. And you can then see if you've bent over any of the grippers as you go around. You keep pushing it in, pushing it in, pushing it in until it goes no further. You then take the collar and just screw it up like that. Sometimes the hose comes loose and comes out. Now, what you must not do, on pain of death, is have this complete like that and then push this back in. You're asking for trouble. And what happens is, I'll show you here, is this. Some of these little grippers get pushed in, sometimes get broken off, and it's then useless. It will leak. Whenever you see a leak, there's usually something wrong. Sometimes you can rescue this by pulling the clipper up, but it's always going to be a weakness on one of these connectors. These connectors cost £5 to £6 to £7 each, so please look after them. Save money for the greenhouses here. Just as a little addition really, I think it's worth saying that, for example, we have here a splitter. So you have the main hose coming here from the tap, then you can split it into two hoses. These have taps on the top, so you can use one or two at the same time. They have different forms. But you'll notice that this also has all these universal connectors with a furrow on the inside where the connector connects, and then the washer on the other side. And this is a similar one, which is male-male, which means you can connect two connectors, hose connectors together like this. Like that. Very convenient, very easy. Take this away as well. One last thing I'd like to mention about uses of hoses is that, for example, let me show you what you could do with, say that you wanted to attach this to a hose. Like this. And slowly go around, don't push it hard, make sure that all those grippers are in line, not broken. Now, I've forgotten to put the collar on. Luckily, I've got a very small bit of hose here, so I can put it on this way. See what I mean? If you forget to put the collar on, just got to undo it, do it all again. Right, screw that up firmly, and then you can just obviously pop that on this sprinkler. Remember to take it off, pull the collar back, then pull it off. Do not pull like this, because that means that you're moving the hose from those grippers inside that collar, and they're going to break, or it'll strain the hose and it won't connect again. When you're using one of these, or in fact you're using perhaps a wand like this, it's very easy to just grab it like this. Don't do that. Always hold the implement and hold the hose a bit further and then pull the hose, because otherwise the hose will be bent, will be pressured inside, and what you want to do is protect this bit here, because that's where all the leaks are going to occur. So hold your wand or sprinkler or whatever, and hold the hose, and if you're walking and you've got a coiled up hose, pull with this hand. Don't pull like this, or don't pull like this, because you're weakening and loosening the connection of the hose to the connector. So, happy watering, folks. Have a good time.